great. We are here to kick starts for the job we are called for. Before I continue, please pause whatever thing you're doing and hit the subscription button and then click on the bell so that you will be the first to see any update I post here. Okay, today we'll be looking into mathematics algebra. Looking into mathematics algebra, the subject, to be precise, is indices. Indices is a plural word. The singular is called index. Without wasting much of our time, if we have a raised to the power x, this is an index simply because the power is just a single number. Then when someone gives you an indices, you are meant to do what? To simplify. We have a raised to the power x also raised to the power y becomes an indices because we are now having double power. So there is no complication when it comes to these index and indices. Index is singular, then indices is plural. Another example of indices is a raised to the power x times a raised to the power y. You see, this is an index, this is an index. In combination, it is called indices. Okay. Now, having understood the meaning of indices and difference between indices and index, then I have to introduce to you guys the laws of indices. Number one, multiplication/addition law. A raised to the power x times a raised to the power y is equal to a raised to the power x plus y. What is this law talking about? This is the base. And then the one written on the top is called the power. Then the base, if the base are the same, the law says take one of the base, then because of multiplication between the two index, we are going to add the powers. So the law means multiplication goes with addition of powers. Multiplication, and it must be sure, it must be certified that the base are the same. Once the base are the same, you are not going to take one of the base and then add up the powers. Then the division law, division/subtraction law. This entails that when the base are the same, you're going to pick one of the base, which is A. Then division induces subtraction. So when you have division between the two index that are having the same base, you're simply going to take one of the base and then add up the powers. Then the third law, law of multiplication and law of multiple index. Multiple index is when you now have two different powers. A raised to the power x also raised to the power y. You see, the index are now multiple. Then you're going to multiply the powers together to get the actual value. Then you will have to do what we call simplify. Then to simplify, multiply the two powers in order to get the actual output. X times y is equal to xy. Then we have the product power law. Under product power law, product means two numbers multiplying themselves. Two numbers multiplying themselves. As you can see, A is multiplying B, and there is a power. Meaning the power outside is going to multiply all the powers inside. Because this AB actually is having a power, A is having a power of 1, and B is also having a power of 1. So when the power outside multiplies the power inside, you're going to have A raised to the power x, B raised to the power x. Because these two factors inside the bracket is being affected by the power. Because the power is common to both of them. So you distribute the powers to each of the factor inside the bracket, or within the bracket, so to speak. Okay, we have number 5, which is the law of negative index. When a number is reached to a negative index, you take reciprocal of that number and then remove the negative. When I say reciprocal, it means 1 over inverse. So a raised to the power minus n is equal to, this minus means 1 over, whenever I say 1 over, the minus is already removed. So 1 over the number which is a, then raised to a positive index. All right, I believe we'll get this right. Then number 6 is the law of what? Zero index. Which says that any number, any alphabet, anything raised to power 0 is equal to what? 1. Anything raised to power 0 is equal to 1. Then we have the 7th law, which are called roots power. When you talk about roots power, the first thing we talk about, they are the likes of the square roots, cube roots, fourth root, fifth root, and so on. Then when you have a raised to power 1 over n, where n is a positive integer, you just take any root, whatever number that is here will come as a root. Any root of what? A. Meaning, if I should have a raised to power 1 over 3, if I should have a raised to power 1 over 3, it should be equal to the third root of a. The 3 will now come as the owner of the chief owner of the square root. Then fractional index. The fractional index is when the index is a complete fraction that has a numerator and a denominator that is visible. The difference between this law and this law is that it is restricted here that the numerator of the fraction must be what? 1. Then the fractional index is a complete fraction. So when you have such a case, you're going to have any root, the denominator of that index. The denominator determines the choice of the root. That's why n must go as the what? The root. Then n root of a, all raised to power m. Or any root of a, the m will come as a power inside the same square root. So these two laws, they are exactly the same thing and they will give you exactly the same answer, depending on the case. Okay, this is like why I wrote this as a note. It's a kind of almost the same thing with our fourth law. When the power outside is being distributed to become the powers of the factors inside. So the power outside here is going to affect the powers inside. So we're going to have a raised to power n divided by a raised to power n. Just that this one is a kind of multiplication and this one is a kind of division. Here we end this video now till we get to the example on the way. Okay.